Hey everyone, this is Matt from Coastal Compass, and today we're going to be showing you a full tour of the Allure of the Seas. The Allure is an Oasis-class ship with Royal Caribbean. It's one of the biggest boats in the world right now. We're going to start going deck by deck. Let's go. Let's start with Deck 2, where the gangway is located. What you're seeing right now is us entering the gangway after a day at port. Immediately after going through security, you can take the escalator up to Deck 3. The only thing you're really going to find on Deck 3 is the American Icon Grill, which is the bottom of the 3 stories of the main dining room, which you will use only if you've done My Time dining. Right above that, you're going to have Silk, which is the 2nd story of the main dining room. It's identical to the 1st story, only it has a balcony. It does have the same menu. The 2nd and the 3rd story are going to be reserved for people who have chosen traditional dining times, which is usually 5:30 or 8 o'clock p.m. Silk was actually the dining hall that we were in for our stay on the Allure, and the waitstaff pulled out all the stops to make us feel like royalty. You see them here gathering every night as the restaurant opens to welcome us. When the children would get bored, they entertained them with origami. And over the course of the week, they created special moments for us while having dinner, from twirling our napkins to music to doing the Macarena. Right outside of Silk is Izumi, which is a specialty restaurant. You'll need reservations. Izumi is the hibachi grill of Royal Caribbean. It's a great place to enjoy sushi or a hibachi bowl, and of course you can't pass up on the sake. Turning from the main dining room in Izumi, you'll see Casino Royale, and I'm sorry they don't allow footage inside the Royal Caribbean casinos, but once you've gone through, you're going to have the main entertainment area of Deck 4. We'll start off with Studio B on the right. Studio B is a multi-purpose facility, but it's mostly known for the ice skating rink, and throughout the week, you'll see that they have specialty ice shows. Probably our favorite event in Studio B is the Silent Dance Party, in which you have wireless headphones and you can pick back and forth between 2 live DJs. Moving on from Studio B, to the left you're going to find Comedy Live. Comedy Live is actually my favorite venue on the Allure. It's an underground comedy club. You will need reservations, and they have 2 comedians who are living on the ship performing almost nightly. Across the hall from Comedy Live, you're going to have Blaze. When we were on the Harmony of the Seas, Blaze and Comedy Live were actually flip-flopped, and you had the comedy club in here. We never actually spent much time in Blaze because on the Allure it's used as a special events center for private events. After that lobby area, you'll come to the end of the floor where you will see the bottom story of the Amber Theater. The Amber Theater is where they are going to have all of the larger shows. The Broadway show on the Allure is going to be Mamma Mia. They did a fantastic job. You will need reservations, but it's easier to get in on the final day of the cruise. A couple of our other favorites are the Love and Marriage game show, which Royal Caribbean has become known for, as well as Blue Planet, which is made up of dancing, singing, and all kinds of special effects. Starting on Deck 5, you're going to come out of the 2nd story of the Amber Theater and enter the Promenade, which is a spot for shopping as well as venues, drinks, and restaurants. First, you'll see On Air on the right, which is where they have several things, but it's mostly known for its family karaoke and late-night adult karaoke. Next, you'll see the Starbucks of the Allure of the Seas, which you need to know is not actually included in the drink package. It will be extra. Then across the promenade, you're going to see Bolero, which is a Latin lounge. They do have a bar there, and they have a Latin band that plays at various times throughout the week. And when they're not playing, it's a great space to just relax because it's pretty quiet. Past Bolero, you're going to find the main shopping area where several shops are. The most prominent one is the shop where you can pick up all your Royal Caribbean gear. Moving on from the shopping area, you're going to find Sorrento's, which is the pizza buffet of the ship, and they've perfectly positioned it across the way from the Bow and Stern, which is the pub. Times throughout the week, they're going to have a parade through the promenade, which the kids love. They say right outside those stairs by the pub is the best place to watch, but I'd say go across the promenade and go up the stairs into the photo area, and you can lean over. It's usually not very crowded up there, and you have a great view. You're going to see Next Cruise, which is a great deal if you love traveling with Royal Caribbean. You get serious discounts on the price and sometimes onboard credit to your room. Outside, they have the car, which is the classic staple for the promenade and the cafe, and then you have Cafe Promenade right there. Cafe Promenade is your basic cafe. It's kind of like the Starbucks of Royal Caribbean. If you have the drink package, you can come here and get all kinds of fancy lattes at any time throughout the cruise. Right past that, you're gonna have the Rising Tide, which at first glance seems like a regular bar, but it's a really cool concept. You board at the promenade, and then when they close the doors, they have a bartender who will serve you as it slowly goes up to floor 8 at Central Park over the course of about 15 minutes. And then you can grab another drink and ride it back down. While it's mainly for adults, I saw a lot of kids getting a kick out of it just because it's something that they've never experienced before. Next, you'll see guest services that can help you out with anything. They were great for any problem that we had throughout the cruise, but we really didn't have any. It was a great experience. And then the last thing you're going to see in the promenade is the champagne bar. On the updated Oasis class ships, this is where the Bionic bar is going to be, but I've still heard from a lot of people that this is a personal favorite. It stays pretty busy in the evening. And then last, as you come to the end of Deck 5, you're going to find the third story of the main dining room. Now here's a cool secret when you finish dining, regardless of which dining room you're in. If you go to Deck 5 and exit to the side, you will find the running track. I know what you're thinking, you probably don't want to go for a run after you've had dinner in the dining hall, but stay with me. If you walk all the way to the back of the ship from the dining hall, you will find one of the best views, especially at sunset. Now we're going to jump up to Deck 6. We're going to go to the other end of the boat and start at Vitality at Sea. Now this is the spa and fitness center of the Allure of the Seas. So immediately on the right, you're going to see the cafe. They make smoothies here. If you have the premium drink package, that is included. My wife and I love to grab that on the way out of the gym in the morning. You also, coming down, have the massage parlor. They have various different services you can register for. And then going further, you're going to have the gym. So on the left, you're going to have a lot of cardio equipment. And then going further, you'll see all of the weights. Now they do have a little area where you can register for different classes right by the stairs. And one of my favorite parts of cruising is the running track. I'm a jogger myself and I love running by the ocean. So you go down these stairs and you'll find the running track connected to the gym. Going back up to Deck 6, on the other side of the boat, you're going to find the Schooner Bar. This is a staple bar on just about every single Royal Caribbean cruise that I've ever been on. It's a great place that has a chill vibe if you just want to hang out and try some drinks. They do have trivia here, sometimes some music. It's also a good place to hang out by the ledge if you want to people watch down on the promenade. Across from the Schooner Bar, you're going to see shore excursions and Focus. Now, I would recommend booking all your shore excursions ahead of time in the app, but they can help you here if you haven't done that yet and you see something you want to try out. And then Focus is where you can buy the photo packages. They will have professional photographers on a lot of the nights, especially the dress-up nights. So if you want to snag those, that's where you can do it. Towards the back of Deck 6, you're going to find the Boardwalk. Now the Boardwalk is exclusive as of 2023 to the Oasis class ships, but it is an amazing thing to check out. I will add that if you come with a family, there's a lot of things to do. Our kids absolutely love the Boardwalk. The first thing you'll see on the right is the Boardwalk Donut Shop. And this is a really cool travel tip. If you don't want to get into the busyness of the Windjammer in the morning, this is an easy place to just come grab a donut and let your kids sit there and eat and wake up slowly. Just past the donut shop, you're going to see Cups and Scoops, which is ice cream and cupcakes. This is a specialty restaurant, so it will set you back a couple bucks, but it is a nice treat to have as you walk around and enjoy the boardwalk. Next up on the right, we have the arcade. Now here's a tip. A lot of people like to hide rubber ducks around the ship, and if your kids want to partake in that, there is a machine where you can win rubber ducks in the arcade. Next up on the right, we have Sabor, which is the Mexican restaurant on all of the Oasis class ships. I will say some of the newer ones that are getting amped up are being turned into a Playmaker's bar, but we personally love the Sabor experience. It's a great place to try the avocado margarita with some friends. And then at the back of the boardwalk, you have what is probably one of the most unique experiences specifically for the Oasis class ships, and that is the Aqua Theater. You'll have diving, dancing, trampoline jumping, and acting. It's really cool shows to check out, and you have a beautiful view of the ocean behind it. Outside the theater, you're going to have rock climbing on both sides. You'll have a bar to get drinks before you watch a show. And then around the corner, you're going to have Johnny Rockets. Johnny Rockets is a throwback to your 50s diner. They have great burgers and diner food, and while they're considered a specialty restaurant, here's a quick tip. Breakfast is free at Johnny Rockets, so if you want to avoid the busyness of the Windjammer diner, you can come here and enjoy the quiet. You'll also find a couple of clothing stores, candy stores, and some toys for the kids. And then last, you have the carousel, which is like the staple of your classic Boardwalk. Our kids did it at least once a day. Hidden behind the carousel, you will have the hot dog stand, which goes to show you there are just so many options in every area of the ship for food. Deck 7 is mostly just rooms, so we're going to skip up to Deck 8. We're going to start at the front of the ship and go through Central Park. Central Park is another neighborhood that is specific to the Oasis-class ships as of now, and it has a lot of cool stores and some of the fancier dining restaurants that are specialty restaurants. My favorite restaurant in Central Park has got to be Vintage's, which you see up here on the left, and I gotta say, I'm sorry I didn't catch any footage of the inside. It is a wine bar, and it's a great place to hang out in the quiet if you just want a secluded date. We spent several nights there just chatting away with some friends. Coming up next on the left is going to be Giovanni's Table. We'll give you a quick look inside. Giovanni's Table is going to be the Italian specialty restaurant on board Allure of the Seas, and they typically have these on several of the other ships, especially the Oasis class. And right across from Giovanni's Table, you're going to have Park Cafe. Now, Park Cafe is not a specialty restaurant. It's a great place to come if you want a quieter breakfast or a quieter lunch. They do have sandwiches and simple breakfast foods for you here. Moving on, you'll have the bar, the top of the Rising Tide bar, and then 1050 Central Park. 1050 Central Park is going to be one of the specialty restaurants as well. It is more of an upscale, fine dining experience. Across the way from 1050 Central Park, you're going to have Chops Grill. Chops Grill is another specialty restaurant. They are going to be your staple steakhouse on board the Allure of the Seas. Now, while I wouldn't say I do enjoy the steak in the main dining room, if you want to take it up a notch, this is a great place to go. As you come out of Central Park and go towards the back of the boat, you're going to have Dazzles. Dazzles is a fun two-story nightclub with a bar that has a house band playing every night. We really like hanging out here with our friends. Of the Oasis-class ships, we've been on both the Harmony and the Allure. I would say that there's a little bit of a difference in the vibe of each of the house bands, but we still enjoyed them both great. And there's a lot of good moments to get up and dance, a lot of good moments just to hang out and feel the vibe. Deck 9 is going to have the second story of Dazzles and mostly rooms, so we're going to skip to Deck 10, which is also mostly rooms, but they do have the library. I have to say that I was a little surprised. I have never been on a library in any of the cruise ships that I have sailed on, but they did have a nice little selection. So if you're like me, you like to hang out and read, but you forgot to bring a book or you don't have enough books, this is a good place to come and check something out. The next several decks above this are mostly going to be rooms, so we're going to skip up to Deck 14, which has Adventure Ocean on the front, and then 7 on the back. Kind of like the library, I've never actually visited the card room on any of the cruises we've sailed, but I was interested to see what it was like, and it was pretty quiet. There's not really a lot of people that hang out there. Across Deck 14 on the other end, you're going to find Adventure Ocean. Adventure Ocean on the Oasis class ships is probably the best that I've ever seen. On the right here, you see they have a workshop for arts and crafts. And then moving along, they have all these different unique areas that you didn't really find on the other ships. Right here you have play, which is just like it sounds. It's a play area for the younger children. And then going around the corner, you're going to find what is something I think is one of the cooler elements of the Adventure Oceans on the Oasis class ships. That is the Adventure Ocean Theater. Sometimes they will have family movie nights, so you can go in there with them. Other times the kids will be in Adventure Ocean by themselves and they take them in here to watch a movie. You continue along, you'll see the Adventure Science Lab on the left. That's a really cool spot for them to do science experiments. It's for some of the older kids, and they'll have designated times during the cruise where they can go check that out. And then moving along, you have Voyagers, which is for kids ages 9 to 11. They do break them up by age here. They have age-appropriate activities for them. They do have different slots where they can take turns playing video games. Next door is Explorers, which is for 6 to 8. Explorers was one of the more packed ones. There were a lot of kids that age. As you can see right now, I'm here while people are signing up their kids to hop in for the week. Moving along, you'll have Imagination, which is another arts and crafts studio for kids 6 to 12. And then right around the corner, you have Aquanauts. Aquanauts is going to be for kids 3 to 5, and they have age-appropriate activities too. Honestly, every time our kids went in, it was like pulling teeth to get them to come out. They really kept them entertained. Our last stop in Adventure Ocean is going to be right down the hall on the other side of the Imagination Studio, and that is the nursery. We've never had kids in the nursery. We didn't start cruising until our kids were out of that age range, but as I've gone with people who have had kids in that age bracket, they said it was a great experience. Now here's another quick travel tip. The sun deck is located right next to Adventure Ocean. If you turn right and hook another right around the corner, follow this hallway, you will find the sun deck right at the end of the hall. The reason I bring this up is the sun deck is the perfect spot on the Oasis class ships for sail away on your first day on the cruise. Most people are actually going to head up to the higher decks which have the pool, so this one won't be as crowded, and it's perfect because you can come claim a spot and watch as you sail away from port. At this point, we're over halfway done with our tour, and we're going to get back to that in about 10 seconds, but I do want to encourage you to hit subscribe if you're considering touring with any of the Royal Caribbean boats. We'll continue to bring you helpful content. And with that, on to deck 15. This is the pool deck. We're going to start at the back of the ship, and you can see the sports court, which they play basketball, tennis, all of the above. Moving on, you have some of the outdoor area up here, and then you have El Loco Fresh. Some of the ships that have not been updated are going to have Wipeout, which is your traditional lunch, chicken nuggets, hot dogs. El Loco Fresh is going to take more of a Mexican feel. You can get tacos, nachos, and everything like that. It's a great place to grab a bite and then bring it back to the pool for the kids. Moving further along, you're going to have the H2O zone, which is the first of the 4 pools. This is the one for kids, so you have that cool whirlpool thing that you saw on the left. And then they have a small pool and what we'd call a splash pad for all the kids. If you want to hang out for the afternoon here, I would recommend coming early and grabbing a spot because especially on sea days, this one gets pretty packed really fast. Moving past that, you have the towel station and the sandbar, and then right past that you have what's called the beach pool, and this is because the whole area is at an angle and the water from the pool will actually come up onto the seats like you're at the beach. It's a cool place if you can snag a spot to hang out. There's actually 2 other pools on the other side of the pool deck, but first we're going to go to the front end of deck 15 and explore the solarium. The solarium is specifically for adults, but they do have a grill up front called the Samba Grill, and you can take kids there during lunchtime and grab a bite if you want to go somewhere and sit down, but you don't want to go to the Windjammer. I would describe the Samba Grill as an easy spot at lunchtime. It's not that crowded. It was easy to get our food and get the kids taken care of. The cons might be it's less air conditioned than somewhere like the Windjammer, and they have a little bit less of a selection, but they still have enough and they have really good food for lunch. Now we're going to go back outside and take a full speed run tour of the solarium. I will say the solarium is a cool spot for adults. It is adults only. You're not allowed to bring kids in here. So it is a more relaxing place. It can be crowded, especially on sea days, but most of the time when we've been in here, it was pretty chill. There's a lot of spots to just grab a beach chair and chill, maybe read a book, have a drink. I will say maybe one of the cons about the solarium on the Oasis class ships is it's not as air conditioned. If you're going in the fall or maybe the winter months, this would be a great experience, but if you're in the middle of July and you're in the warmer areas of the Caribbean, it might be a little bit hotter at the peak of day. Up on the second story, they do have plenty of areas with a good view. They also have the solarium bar, which I might say at sea days when it's really busy by the pool, this is an easier spot to come grab a drink. And with that, we're gonna head back down to deck 15 and finish up the pool deck. So on the other side of the pool deck, you first have the main pool. This is just gonna be a regular pool with some chairs to lounge out on. And if you walk up here on the side, you'll see this cool 3-tiered area to lay out on. I'd never seen anything like that except for on the Allure. Going even further, you see up here, coming up on the left, you're going to have another one of the pool bars. And then right past that is the sports pool. The sports pool is where they will play volleyball and different things. They also have scuba diving lessons I've seen in the morning. If you continue along that hallway, you'll find yourself back at the back of the ship and you'll see the Allure Dunes, which is the Allure of the Seas version of mini golf. Right across from that, you have the zip lines. What you're seeing right here is they actually go across over the boardwalk, but several stories up. Going up the stairs by the zip line, you're going to find both of the flow riders. I've only seen the Oasis class ships at this point having 2 flow riders. On one side, they actually have stand-up boards. You'll have the wipeout bar, and on the other side, they have the boogie boards that you lay on your stomach. Quick note, there is a height requirement, and you have to sign off before you get in line and ride. And then we're going to head over to deck 16, which is where you can find the buffet, the Windjammer. This is included in the price of your ship. They have a lot of variety. It's great if you have picky kids. The menu is typically going to be the same for breakfast and lunch, but they do change it up and have themed nights in the evening. Then right outside the Windjammer, you'll have walkways right above the pool across deck 16 to the other side. It's going to be a little windy, so not a lot of people hang out up here, but it is great for an evening stroll to look out at the ocean. That is going to be the end of our tour of the Allure of the Seas. Thank you so much for joining us. I do hope that you will subscribe to our channel. We are going to continue to bring helpful tips and tricks for cruising around the Caribbean and staying at all-inclusive resorts. Thank you for joining us.